On this episode of At Ramgarage Racing, we're going to install an Exedy clutch and flywheel. And if you like this video, please subscribe, like, share, as we produce more videos on a regular basis. Thank you. Here is a brand new twin disc series. I believe that's the right one. I'm gonna have to verify, but it's an organic twin disc. I believe originally it's made for the GT 500. Sorry, we got a little spot there. Let's see what we got here. Big box. Never been opened. Beautiful thing. I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart and see what we got. So what do you think the temperature is outside?
I don't know, 103.
Okay, so we started out, there's Matthew by the way, Regularass Mustang. We started out thinking that we had a throwout bearing issue. So we dropped the trans, which is not a big deal, but pretty quiet. We have a new one anyway. Real issue ends up to be, I don't know if you can see this, but we have contact right there. Yeah, right there. You can see that it's hitting this bolt. Why? Because we've adjusted this back as the clutch is worn and the tangs have come out further. So bottom line is we're going to take out the clutch and we're going to check to see the condition of it. But we're expecting that after 2 years of racing a clutch that we have sufficiently worn it. It's still working perfectly fine, but the tolerances are just a little bit long and we're starting to have impact, which is basically we have a sensor that is allowing us to know that it's time to change the clutch. We're going to pull it out. And what are you doing right now?
Taking the starter out right now.
Oh yeah, so we can get the bell housing out and then we'll show what it's like to take out an Exedy clutch. But if you look at it, it looks pretty clean. After taking the starter out, took the bell housing out, kind of wheeled it around to get it through the headers. Now we have, I want to say, 6 bolts. You can tell they all are marked because they were torqued. Take it out evenly and we'll drop the clutch, which is pretty simple. And we'll come right back to you. Okay, we determined they are actually 12 millimeters because we're using ARP bolts in ours. We're just taking it off, kind of going in the pattern, loosen them up equally, and we'll get this thing out of there. Clutch is out, but it looks really good. I'll have to check the specs, but you can see a little bit of dust. Let's go ahead. You want to hold on to that, Matt?
Yep.
I'm going to pull, and we're going to keep the orientation the same. But this side, look, I mean, you can start to see a little wear on a couple of the, yeah, this side's wearing a bit. A little hot spot there, but nothing too bad. All right, let's go see what we got now. So we definitely have some hot spots and such, but it looks pretty even wear.
It's very even wear.
No oil to speak of. All right, I say at this point, let's go ahead and get the flywheel down. Make sure that we have an 8 bolt. How's our pilot bearing look? Looks pretty good actually. Yeah. We need to just bang that one out. So let's come back.
Zap these off real quick and we'll be back.
We took the flywheel off, 8 bolts, a little bit of force. We have an MMR rear oil holder support, 1/4 inch aluminum. The seal actually looks really good. We'll have to take a look. We'll leave the light You don't see a lot of oil dripping right down there. You don't see oil be thrown around. What you do see is that oil pan leaking, which has been our suspect all along. But we are now ready to pull that oil pan. In our case, it'll come straight back out, which I think in most cases it would. Remember, we have a dry sump system, so there's no oil pickup hanging down there. We originally were going to take off the steering member over there, but now we don't. So we'll get back to you. We're going to go check out the clutch. Noticing after we took our clutch out on the old one, we have space between the level or the face. I'd say that's 3/32 to a 16th, a little less than an eighth basically. When we do the same thing on the brand new one, you will see that it's actually above the pressure plate body, and that's what we're feeling. So there's probably an 1/8 inch total difference in height, and that's why we're having the issue we're having.
Yep.
So let's get this done. Replace it. We'll talk to Exedy and we'll go from there. But man, is that thing worn? As far as the disc goes, has that thing worn well? All right, out. Clutch install day. All right, we're tearing one apart. Really simple. 3 of these things hold together, about 10 foot-pounds. Clean all the disc. We're kind of anal when it comes to balancing. They come pre-balanced. We're just cleaning everything up, putting it in. There's the old one, new one. We have our helper today. He showed up. How you doing there?
I'm doing great.
All right, so we are marking basically what is going on here.
Marking the orientation of the flywheel spacer.
And the bolt pattern, basically, right?
Which goes right there. I got a nice arrow already.
Already going up, okay. So we just need to transfer that to the flywheel, so when we mount it, we do it the first time right, correct?
That's correct, which means, you know, 2 or 3 times probably.
We decided that Exedy does a great job telling us that's 64 pounds in our personal case. On the torque spec there, and 24 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, which will verify on the clutch cover plate 2 flywheel, and then, as I already discovered, 10 pounds for the twin disc.
Consult your manual, don't consult us.
Yes, when in doubt, look at the manual. By the way, make sure that's all clean before you put it all back together. All right.
Entertainment purposes only.
Okay, well,
because we're professional and professionals.
Yeah, and this is our sense of entertainment, so go figure. So the inside of an Exedy Twin Disc, you will notice that they are marked transmission side. This one I believe says flywheel side, transmission side. This is obviously the transmission side. We have the 3 springs. We took this off, middle ring, 3 springs. Then you have mounting pins where the 3 springs go. So we're set. We obviously had marked it before. We rebalanced it just because that's what we do. It was pretty good. Put it back together. Clutch is completely back together. Loctited. And then what's going on under here?
I could use a 1/2 inch. But
okay. So basically what we're doing is we're going to use this to get the lightweight flywheel up.
Well, first thing, we marked the orientation of the flywheel spacer so that all the bolt holes line up, and then we did the same thing on the flywheel so we know where to line those holes up. And now we're using a trans jack, which probably is overkill, but whatever you can do to
basically that's to make it easier to balance that flywheel so it doesn't fall on your head.
Exactly.
All right, we'll come back after we put it in.
All right. So if you can see in there,
you got it?
Yeah, you can see the arrow, and then line up with that arrow, and then the jack, you can hold it now, makes it so you can line this up. And I really haven't used much force.
Saving your arms?
Saving my energy.
All right, so now we're just gonna put a bolt in. You have that bolt?
Yep. Now I got a bolt, but
Good
we're
luck.
just gonna line it up first, right? Or
Yep.
do you want to put? Oh, you already got locked.
I got, yeah. Now it's all over
Well,
your
now
finger.
it's on my finger, which is hilarious. Let's try to get it back on there.
Remember, half as much, twice as long. There we go. All right, repeat 8 times.
There we go.
And then we'll go in a kind of a
Start pattern.
yeah. There you go.
All right.
So we got it all set up, made easier by the jack, made easy about figure out the orientation ahead of time, star pattern, and then I'm gonna set up a torque wrench for 64 foot-pounds as we inch it on.
Set it.
So check, we on further review at 63 foot-pounds.
63 foot-pounds.
And now it's time to go in a star pattern.
So, let's mark that.
So 1 mark. I guess we have to hold that thing, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put a lever in there. We're gonna hold it, but you get the idea. We'll be back after we get this on. She's on. You can tell she's all torqued.
So we marked them with a red dot on each one, 63 foot-pounds. And now we got the clutch going in next, twin disc.
But we definitely cleaned everything with brake cleaner,
Yep.
right? So we got everything off. We're ready to line this up. All right,
Yep.
same principle. We have a blue marks. There it is right there on the bottom.
Right there.
We have a corresponding blue mark on the clutch. 'Cause
Somewhere.
we'll know it when we pick it up.
There it is.
There it is right there. And we got the alignment pin. And so let's get that thing in there. We're gonna bolt on and worry about
Alright.
centering it after the fact. Here we go.
Do it. Alright, so
You got marks lined up. Once you get that pin in there first, just spin it after that.
oh, there we go. There we go.
So the trick was to get that thing in there, right? Okay, we have a bolt ready to rock.
Okay.
We lost.
Ah, there we go.
Okay,
Now
cool.
I'm in there.
Excellent.
Okay.
Here is a Loctite bolt. Just get one in there someplace to hold it in position. And then we'll get the other ones in and we'll torque them and we'll verify, but I believe it's 24 foot-pounds. Got the idea. Nice job. Cool. And then we'll show you afterwards how to center that thing.
Yeah. So there, it's hanging up a little bit.
Okay, so you just find the center point.
Move it up, it's locked a little bit. Really nice.
Okay. Go one opposite. Okay, that looks good. All right, check your centering.
That feels pretty good.
Okay, we're good. All right, we're going to go ahead and finish tightening down. We have the torque wrench set to 24 foot-pounds, so we'll be torquing and marking. Let's show you when we're done.
Marked. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. All right.
All right, cool. So that would be the installation of the flywheel
And the
clutch. And now it's time, because we have T56, we can go ahead and put in the bell housing, starter, and then get the transmission in and button this thing up. Cool. All right, man.
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. We are getting the bell housing on, and by we, I mean Mr. Regularass Mustang Dad here.
Yeah, this is not heavy, it's aluminum.
And he gets easy stuff.
That's right. It's age appropriate.
Because he doesn't do anything around here.
Nope. Nope. Bonbons. I sit home and eat bonbons.
So we're just making sure nothing's in the way. This is just the bell housing for the T56.
Oh, which is nice.
We figured, based on the 9.8 volts
M10 we decided.
M10, that They should be torqued to roughly 33 foot-pounds.
And for you, those of you that right now are saying, why aren't you using air tools? You are absolutely right.
Because we're dumb.
Because we're just lazy.
We like to do things the hard way.
But,
Alright, so we'll be back. Alright, we are now working on the starter. And the starter goes passenger side, right in front of the flywheel, on the passenger side, right side of the engine. And we have these 3 studs that is different from OEM, and we kind of think it works. While I'm doing that, my dad finished up the bell housing, so we torqued those. I think there's only 6 bolts on the back, 2 on the front, could be wrong. So that's torqued roughly 33 foot-pounds, and now I get to try to get this thing in here. So let's see if I can do that one-handed. I have my doubts. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Alright. So then, the fun part comes, which is threading the nuts. Obviously the bottom one's easy, but this is a pain and a nightmare. Oh, let's see. So I'm gonna need my hand, but oh, maybe not. Nope. Yep. Definitely gonna need my hand. Okay. So once I get those 2 on, we'll torque those down to hand tight.
we're getting towards the part where we're going to put in the transmission. Just cleaning it over here. Cleaning it up, we're going to go ahead and put a new throw-out bearing on it, because that's what we thought it was at first. I'm going to clean up a little bit here. Got a little marring on the end from putting it in. That's where the pilot bearing is, but not bad. Anyway, we'll be back. So we cleaned it up. We kind of polished this out with, I don't know, 600 grit sandpaper, just really lightly. New throw-out bearing. We're just going to grease here, 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 and here. Here's a new one. Just make sure the orientation is this piece here, points away. We're just going to install it, and this is backwards. Boom, boom. I need 2 hands. Make sure the tines are underneath. I'll show you in a second. All right, we're underneath. This pointing thing is here. We've greased up there, ready to put this on. Everything's good. Just slides it on. We had this pre-lubed. We have some more lube there. I'm gonna just put this on. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. All right, so there she goes, and then I just gotta pop her in this way. Ready to put his trans in. So we've wrestled the Tremec onto the trans jack, and we're going to line her up, jack her up. Looks like you got some of the wires hanging across.
Yep. And then this is the breather hose.
Oh yeah, hang on for a second. I'm gonna.
If you can see that, but it's got this little mount, and so you want to thread a bolt through it first.
I can see it.
You see it, and then
just because you can't get your hand in there afterwards, right?
So you really just want to, you don't need it all the way in, but just have it in there.
Kind of flush started. Okay, cool, man. Let's get this thing up and lined up, and we'll show that later.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on the trans jack. You are jacking it up. We are watching the alignment here for the pin. We got to come about 4 inches forward.
Can we go forward yet?
Yeah, we can go forward quite a bit. We can go forward about 4 inches.
Because we got the, we're hitting the...
Yeah, so you get the idea. We're going to line this up. We're jacking it up. We're taking our time. We're being careful. I'm going to stop filming. We're going to line up and we'll come back. We've got the jack up to the right level, the trans up to the right level, the right angle. We slid it in, it went in perfectly fine. We wiggled it. We then used the two bottom bolts, right and left, to kind of lever it back in lightly. And now I think the big trick to get the top ones down is to use, I can't really see it, but what do you have, like a 24-inch and a 9-inch?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the trick right there, except you would have the sock at the end, obviously. But you have basically 36 inches worth of extensions out the back to get the top bolts. Once those two are done, that's the hard part. The rest are easy to get to. Let's go get this thing done.
Let's finish it up.
So using all that 36 inches of extensions, we've got all 6 bolts in the transmission to the bell housing. We decided to go 28 foot-pounds. Bell housing to the engine, we decided to do 33, and we're set. It's in there. Oh, we got to lock down these two here. The rear trans mount, that's the yellow one. Now it's time to go ahead and plug everything in. Certainly got to get inside and put the shifter in, drive shafts next, then we go to the exhaust, and we're set. Looking good. So let's see here, what's going on?
Just cleaning up.
Okay, so trans is in, locked down, the rear support is in, it's all wired up. Certainly have to go inside and put the shifter in, but at this point it's time to put the drive shaft on, which sits right here. Nice QA1 carbon fiber, very light. Oh, super light, super balanced. We swear by it. Slide the front and then put 4 bolts. We figured out it was 83 foot-pounds and with a blue Loctite. Let's get that done. And we marked it earlier to know the orientation, and we're good. Here we go. Let's try this again. 83 foot-pounds, blue Loctite, and the drive shaft will be in. Let's go lock it up and get the torque wrench set.
To what, like 83 foot-pounds?
83 foot-pounds. That would be the killer drive shaft there.
And we're...
Boom, 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 boom. Look at that.
Just need to get the X pipe back in.
Which I'm going to do in a moment. SFI.
Clutch cable.
Clutch cable.
Crossbar.
Yep.
Some wiring to the starter, and
we're set.
we're set.
But
Maybe
don't forget
oil
yes,
pump.
oil pump. Don't forget to
What?
shifter.
And the shifter. I'm doing that.
All right,
Next.
I'm gonna go get what's left here as far as the, I don't know, what we got going here. Oh yeah, cable. So the finished product. We have shifter all mounted up. If we get underneath the car, the trans is all mounted up. Drive shaft's in, exhaust is in, ready to rock. Good project.